One-step inequalities, multiplying and dividing. There's a reason why these two things have been split up into adding and subtracting, and then a multiplying and dividing. Whenever we were talking about equations, they didn't need to be separated, although we did talk about inverse operations for adding and subtracting and inverse operations for multiplying and dividing. Those can all be clumped together, and that's how this map right here was created. The inverse operations. Now, the thing that is difficult to remember about multiplying and dividing inequalities is that anytime you multiply or divide by a negative in the problem, by a negative, not if the number you're dividing from is negative, but the number you're dividing with is negative. And I'm going to show you examples of that. You have to flip the inequality symbol to its opposite direction because it takes the opposite of the values. So this is the only thing that you need to remember about inequalities is when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, it flips the sign. Everything else is going to remain exactly the same. So you can see in some of these examples here that on this particular question, the number associated with the variable, the -3 next to the x, automatically is a symbol that's going to show you a sign that's saying, I'm going to end up dividing by a -3, which is going to flip the sign. You can see that the sign originally started off as greater than and it ended as less than. So anytime you're dividing by a negative, you can see right here, divided by a -3, divided by a -3, that the sign is going to end up flipping. You can see in the second problem, that is not the case. K divided by 4 is positive. If k was being divided by a -4, that means we end up multiplying by a -4, which would then flip the sign. You can see that this one, nothing changed. We kept the same symbol and everything. But we did multiply by a negative, but it wasn't the inverse operation, the thing associated with the variable. A positive number was associated with the variable. We multiplied by a +4. You can see here that n divided by +3 just means we're going to multiply by +3. And you can see that the symbol does not flip on this one. On this fourth problem, you can see that the -9, the number associated with the variable, is -9 is being multiplied by x. That means the inverse operation would be dividing by -9. Anytime that we are multiplying or dividing by a negative, you are going to flip the sign. And you can see the sign flip to its opposite direction. Anytime that you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, the sign will flip